The battle over cryptocurrency regulation in the United States just took a dramatic turn, and Coinbase is at the center of it. The crypto exchange giant is urging the U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, to intervene and stop state-level enforcement actions that are creating chaos in the industry, especially after federal regulators dropped their case against Coinbase earlier this year. But here's where it gets controversial. Coinbase argues that states are overstepping their bounds, leading to a confusing and fragmented regulatory environment that could stifle innovation. In a detailed 14-page letter sent to the DOJ on Monday, Coinbase's chief legal officer, Paul Grewal, made a compelling case for federal intervention. He emphasized that the DOJ should encourage Congress to pass broad preemption laws that would prevent states from pursuing enforcement actions against crypto companies when those activities are legal under federal law. Grewal's point is clear. When a state like Oregon sues Coinbase for offering services that federal law permits, it signals a fundamental problem in how crypto regulation is handled in the U.S. When Oregon can sue us for services that are legal under federal law, something's broken, Grewal stated in a post on X, formerly Twitter. This isn't federalism. This is government run amok. This letter came in response to a lawsuit filed in April by Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield. Rayfield accused Coinbase of selling unregistered securities to residents of Oregon, echoing allegations that the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, had previously made in a federal case. However, the SEC dropped its lawsuit against Coinbase in February, a move that surprised many in the crypto community. Following the SEC's withdrawal, other states like Vermont, South Carolina, and Kentucky stepped in with their own enforcement actions, trying to fill what they see as a regulatory void left by federal agencies. Rayfield has openly stated that individual states feel compelled to act because federal regulators are giving up under the new administration and abandoning these important cases. This raises a critical question. Should states have the power to enforce crypto laws independently, or does this create a patchwork of conflicting rules that could harm the industry's growth? In an effort to challenge Oregon's lawsuit, Coinbase requested that the case be moved to federal court, and in June, it was transferred to the U.S. District Court for the District of Oregon. But Coinbase didn't stop there. In July, the company filed its own lawsuit against Oregon Governor Tina Kotek in state court, accusing her administration of making policy changes regarding cryptocurrency behind closed doors, without public hearings, legislative debate, or transparency. This lawsuit is set for a status hearing on October 29th. Meanwhile, on the legislative front, the U.S. Parliament. Senate Banking Committee is preparing to vote on a bill aimed at creating a clearer market structure for digital assets. This legislation is expected to define the roles of the SEC and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, in regulating and enforcing crypto laws. Grewal has urged the DOJ to submit a formal letter to Congress advocating for broad preemption provisions in this legislation. Specifically, he wants federally regulated digital assets to be exempt from state blue sky laws, which are state securities regulations, and for new state licensing or regulatory requirements not to apply to crypto intermediaries. Importantly, he also calls for these protections to apply retroactively, shielding companies from past state enforcement actions. Although Coinbase currently faces no active federal lawsuits, the company remains vigilant. Last week, it filed a motion related to a Freedom of Information Act (FOIA) request seeking text messages from former SEC Chair Gary Gensler. Coinbase has submitted multiple information requests to the SEC amid a 2023 civil enforcement action, likely aiming to uncover the rationale behind the SEC's decisions to pursue certain crypto companies over alleged securities violations. Cointelegraph reached out to the Oregon Attorney General's office for a response to Coinbase's letter, but had not received a reply by the time of publication. This ongoing tug-of-war between federal and state authorities raises important questions about the future of crypto regulation in the U.S. Should federal law take precedence to ensure uniformity and clarity, or do states have a right to enforce their own rules to protect their residents? And what does this mean for innovation and consumer protection in the rapidly evolving crypto space? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with Coinbase's call for federal preemption, or do you believe states should maintain their enforcement powers? Share your opinions in the comments below and join the conversation.